Smartphones have become boring in 2026. Every launch is same. AI features, AI tools, AI everywhere. But then there's this, the all-new OPPO Find X9 Ultra. Let's start with the cameras because you get a 200 megapixel main camera, a 200 megapixel 3x periscope telephoto, a 50 megapixel 10x optical zoom, and a 50 megapixel ultra wide. On paper, this is probably one of the most craziest camera system I have ever used on a smartphone. Now, before we start talking about the image quality, cameras in more details, there's one feature I used way more than I expected, the dedicated camera button. Press once to launch the camera and swipe across to zoom. Yes, it sounds gimmicky, but it genuinely makes the phone feel like more of a camera. And then there's the Hasselblad partnership. Honestly, you can just see it throughout the entire experience, not just in the branding, but in the colors, the tones, the way images are rendered. Even the design of this Chandrambar X9 Ultra reminds me of the Hasselblad X2D. And when Becca compared images from the Hasselblad X2D and the Find X9 Ultra side by side, some of the results were surprisingly close, which is honestly insane to think about. Now let's talk about the star of the show, the 200 megapixel main camera. The first thing you will notice is the details. This sensor captures an absurd amount of information. You can crop into photos heavily and still end up with usable images. But honestly, it's not just about the sharpness. The sensor is so large that you get natural depth of field in your photos. Subject separates beautifully from the background, and the subtle optical depth gives images a much more premium look. Also, now let's talk about the zooming experience. One of my favorite thing about this phone's camera is how versatile it is. You can go from ultra wide to all the way from 10x optical zoom, and every focal length feels genuinely useful. 0.6x for landscape, 1x for everyday shots, 3x for portraits, and 10x for subjects that are far away. Watching the camera transition through all these lenses and focal lengths feels like changing lenses on an actual camera. If I had to choose one lens, it would be this, the 200 megapixel 3x telephoto. This thing is incredible. The compression, the details, the separation, everything about it looks cinematic. Most of my favorite photos from this phone were shot on this lens. Okay, so now let me share my experience of using this X9 Ultra's camera and my thoughts on the image quality. Overall, the image quality is excellent. The details from this 200 megapixel sensor is genuinely crazy. Some of the photos I captured looks closer to a camera than a smartphone photo. This has been one of my most enjoyable smartphone camera experience I have had in a long time. That dedicated camera button makes you want to shoot more. The zoom range gives you creative freedom. The 200 megapixel sensor captures an insane amount of details, and the overall experience feels like it was built by people who genuinely care about photography. And that's what the OPPO Find X9 Ultra does. It makes smartphone feel exciting again. And that's why I think this is the peak smartphone.